Well, we are still looking at the implications. Of course, there is an antitrust element. There is this idea that I fully share from the European Commission Vice President Margaritis Schinas when he said that sport should be based on a culture of values and principles. We know that the European Court of Justice in the past has spoken when it came to, for example, transfers, such as in the case of the Bosman ruling. So I am convinced that there is a competition and antitrust element. But, of course, we have to see whether such issues are better solved at the national level or through antitrust national sporting associations. So, of course, the anger is real, the disappointment is big, but how to deal with it and how to solve it is something we are looking into. Absolutely, this is about European football. It touches the heart of hundreds of millions of European fans. So I think it's our responsibility also to talk on behalf of those fans. We are fans ourselves, so we should express that disappointment. Of course, financial stability is important, and we know that these football associations and especially the smaller ones have suffered dramatically through the COVID pandemic. But you know, football has been around and it has survived world wars over the last 100 years. Of course, we need to help. Let's look at reforming the leagues rather than creating a super league of 12 teams from which there is no competition and you cannot be relegated from. For me, I am the mother of 4 boys, so I would like to instill in them and teach them that competition is good, that for you to reach somewhere, you need to work hard and it needs to be merited. What this Super League does, it takes away from that dream, that ambition, that if you are a small team, you can one day make it. And it's that dream that keeps everybody going. And it's that dream that has been dashed with this news of this sort of Super League that will take it away from these boys, from these children who need to be taught the real principles to fight. I was inspired, and this report I will dedicate to the assassinated Daphne Caruana Galizia, Maltese journalist, a mother who, when she died, had 42 libel suits instituted against her, which her children inherited, that had to continue to fight against her in her name. Her assets were frozen by people, by politicians, by everybody who wanted to silence her. Well, until the masterminds are put behind bars, justice will not be served. And even then, this big stain on our country will not be removed, because it is so, let's say, such a shame that this happened in my country because a woman was seeking truth and justice, and she was killed precisely because of that. And her family will never recover from something like this. The country will never recover. Well, there are, of course, many things to say. First of all, that if it were not for the European Union, we would not have pooled equipment, vaccines, and made sure that we are, let's say, showing the world how to do it also with countries that are poorer than EU member states. Yes, there have been hiccups. Yes, there has been criticism. But ultimately, I think that all member states need to focus now, first of all, on making sure their populations are vaccinated, but also, for example, something we are voting here next week, to make sure that when there are the variants, in other words, and then the vaccines need to be boosted or changed in order for those to be adapted to the European or the global population, then the procedure for adopting their license for them is quicker. Well, I think the world owes Madame Merkel for her leadership, for her foresight, and ultimately for her values in underpinning all the decisions, sometimes extremely difficult, such as in the 2015 migration crisis. I wish all the best to Armin Laschet, who will now take over very, very difficult mantle, and we look forward to see how the campaign in Germany will unfold, and the results, of course, will have an impact all over the continent.